In this tutorial, we're going to set up XAMPP with WordPress. So the first question that comes to mind is, what is XAMPP? So XAMPP is basically a WAMP package where WAMP is Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP, all configured, all packaged together and set up for you, so you don't have to worry about configuring Apache with the correct module or making sure that you have the right PHP modules so that it interacts with the MySQL server. So WordPress is this really great open source web software that you can use to make websites or blogs. It's used by many websites actually as their content management system backend because it's really easy to use. So the other neat thing about WordPress is that it's free and it is community supported through many plugins, themes, and even support. So for this tutorial, we need to download XAMPP, and then we need to also download WordPress. So here's the download page for XAMPP. It is hosted by ApacheFriends.org, and you have three flavors of the installation that you could use. So you have your self-extracting archive, your 7-zip archive, and also your zip archive. So you get any of these three, you're good to go. And then the second download is also the download for WordPress. So over here on your right hand side, you're gonna have your zip archive and then your gzip tarbell. So again, depending on what you like, you could get either or, they're the same thing. So in this video, what are we going to do? We're going to set up XAMPP. It's really easy. You just basically extract or the archive. And then we're going to set up a database for WordPress. After that, we're going to unpack WordPress, and then we're going to set it up. So I already have gone ahead and downloaded XAMPP and then extracted it to my desktop. So the first thing that you want to do is that you want to configure it have it configured so that the programs and the services will know where to look for their configuration files and their website files. So you're going to run this bash script right here called setup XAMPP. Okay, so after that, you're going to start this control panel right here. So this control panel basically has start and stop buttons for every service that comes with the XAMPP package. So it comes up as an icon in the bottom right hand of your screen. And right here is the control panel. So basically you're just going to want to click start for both Apache and MySQL. So once you see the port numbers come up right here, then that means the services have both started and you're good to go. So to verify that it's actually started, you're going to go to your web browser of choice and you're going to go to http://localhost. You can go ahead and choose your language of choice again, and you are greeted with a page that looks similar like this. Under PHP, go ahead and click on the first link just to make sure that PHP is actually running and it's configured correctly with the package. So this PHP info page right here is basically a page that will show you the information about PHP, how it was configured, how it was compiled, little bits and pieces that most people will not have to really worry about. So let's go ahead and take a look at this tool right here, phpMyAdmin. You're going to use that to manage the database server. So for us, what we're going to do is we're going to create a database so that we could have our WordPress tables stored in there. So once phpMyAdmin is loaded, you're going to go to databases, and you're going to, under create database, you're going to enter in WordPress. So once that is done, it says database has been created. So that's good. So now we're going to go and put our WordPress files into our web server. So there's this folder right here called htdocs. So anything that's in this folder can be accessed by http://localhost/ whatever the file or folder that you have. So I've gone ahead and extracted WordPress, and I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna move it into our htdocs folder. Now going back into Firefox or your web browser, we're gonna go to localhost/WordPress now. So now you're greeted with this page saying that there's no configuration file, which is perfectly fine since we are setting up a brand new WordPress install. So go ahead and create a configuration file, and then it's going to say you need to know all this information about your web hosting environment before you continue. So we know all that. Let's go. So the database name is WordPress, like we made it earlier. If we made it something else like WordPress 2, then we would fill in WordPress 2 here. The username would be root, because the default user for any MySQL installation is root. You could actually create a user and assign it to that database only for security reasons later on, but again, since this is just a local install for testing out stuff and checking out WordPress, then we don't really have to worry about it. And we're going to clear out the password and leave everything else the same. So now it says, okay, we made it this far, now let's go ahead and install. So this next page right here is going to ask you for some quick information. So we're going to enter setup WAMP in WordPress. Actually, let's make this XAMPP. And we'll leave the username as admin, and we'll pick the worst password in the world as our password. And email, since this is a local installation, that you could just pretty much make up any email address and just put it in there. And I uncheck the this box right here so that for some odd reason search engines won't be able to index it. But since it's a local install, then 9 times out of 10 we do not have to worry about it. Go ahead and hit install WordPress. And so right now it's putting all the database tables into that WordPress database we made earlier. So let's just go back to localhost/WordPress to see how far we got. So the big difference is that now this time we see a blog page versus the error page we saw earlier, so that's a good sign. Let's log in and check out the control panel for WordPress. So we enter in the username and password that we used earlier, and we are greeted by the control panel for WordPress. So having something like this is really neat so that you could test out plugins and themes, or even develop your own theme without having to constantly upload to your production website so many times, because sitting there just to upload a whole folder worth of files just for one change could get really annoying, could get really tiresome. So having this right here makes it a lot easier. So let's check out a theme. So I heard about this cool theme called Pinboard, so I'm gonna go ahead and install it and see what I get with it. And we're gonna hit install now right here, and then it's gonna automatically download the archive from WordPress.org, and it's gonna extract it for us and everything. And we'll activate it and we'll check it out and see how it looks on our WordPress install. So we could use this link up here just to jump to our WordPress install, and we can see that it looks a lot different than it did before. So at this point you could just pretty much mess around with it. You could even install other things such as Drupal, Joomla, a lot of different web software. So even you could set up a local install of a wiki and learn how to manage a wiki before you even set one up for learning how to play in snow or something. So after you're done messing around with all this and you just want to call it quits for the day, you could actually just open up your control panel. You're going to hit stop on both of them. And then once it stops, then you were pretty much done. Because you could see that once we try to reload this page, we're just going to get a page that says that we cannot connect to it because the software is already offline. The server is pretty much shut off. Alright, well that's pretty much it.